souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to another week of Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie. Hey! Guys, it is popping in the studio this week. We have a dope underground hip-hop artist from Boston. He's made a name for himself. He's made a name with features. He's done his thing. Welcome to the show, Fasscoupe. What's poppin'?
It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey.
I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here how to make a stop by Old Soul Young World.
We appreciate you. We appreciate the vibes. You bring in your energy. And we got a lot to talk about today. Being an old soul and everything in between.
For sure, definitely.
For sure. And you know, if you just want to let the people know, Fasscoupe, actually, like, what is your genre of music and where do you come from?
Okay, so I'm originally from Cambridge, Massachusetts, to be exact. You know
Shout
what I'm saying?
out Cambridge.
Yeah, shout out to the whole 617. So in terms of my music, I'm very versatile, but you know, I would say I'm more so trap, but I do drill as well. I do hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm pretty much all over the place. But yeah, those are my three genres that I really stick to. Word.
Keeping the culture alive, you know? And for people who are not familiar with Fasscoupe, he has a very wide range of music, featuring, like I said, different artists, him being featured on different tracks, working with big names, small names, and all names in between. And, you know, it's like when you talk to an artist, I guess my first thought is, what made you an artist? What made you get to the point where, like, you were, you know, a younger soul than you are now, and you were like, that's my path. That's the thing that sparked something in me. Where'd that come from?
So when I was, you know, some years ago, you know.
Don't age yourself.
Oh, so, you know what I'm saying? Some years ago, not too old though. When I was in class, I remember my teacher, she had gave us like a poetry assignment, and all the kids, you know, we had to write our own little poems. And I made my own poem about like the color aqua and stuff like that. And she said it stuck out. So that's when I knew I was pretty good. And I was really young at the time. And then, you know, just from being younger, watching TV back then, you know, 106 in Park, you know, just hearing like Tupac and, you know, all those classic records from all those classic artists and stuff back in that area, you know, it really inspired me. So I started writing down lyrics and stuff like that. And, you know, just playing around with, you know, writing stuff down on paper. Yeah. For sure.
That's dope. So I guess you kind of actually already answered one of my questions. So you're a writer also, because sometimes people are, you know, into the music scene, but they'll have ghostwriters, or they'll have other people that they work with that help them with their lyricism. Do you feel like when you were younger to now, or any time in between, like, that writing came naturally to you as an artist?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I started when I was young, so it wasn't too hard for me to do as I got older. But, you know, I did adopt freestyling because there's just some situations when you're in the studio where you might not have all the time to write. Like, it just might be like right there, like, let's just go make this record. So I did learn how to freestyle across the way. But, you know, all my best records that I've done personally were all written. So I noticed that.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I feel like too, so and you know, people listening and they're gonna be like, Jesse, we heard you say it's 900 times, but you probably haven't. So I'm a spoken word poet myself. Growing up, I was always writing. Similar story to yours. In fifth grade, I was sharing poetry at my circle time, and my teacher was like, wow, like, I'm gonna see your book on the shelf one day. And I literally never till this day forgot that. I was like, yeah, one day. But it was the fact of writing and learning vocabulary that helped me in the future. Like, because you talk about freestyling, I used to be involved in a lot of hip hop groups in the Salem area, and we would do little like freestyle battles with each other just to fuck around. Nothing crazy. Nobody's listening. But I felt like my writing and learning vocabulary and learning like words that go together, and you know, almost like wordplay. It helped me in the future as I got older with all my different like sections of art. So it's pretty dope when you can, you know, come from that, because a lot of artists don't have the writing factor. Right. They more have the vocals, you know. Absolutely. It's dope to have a balance.
Absolutely, so, for sure.
And do you feel like, you know, you as an artist being into trap, hip hop, is it important for you to be balanced within music and life? Like, whatever, you know, is going on in your life, you're relating that or relaying that into what you're saying? Or do you kind of separate the two?
It depends, you know.
Yeah.
I think that just depends on the vibe, maybe the instrumental, you know, the setting or the inspiration. So there's sometimes I may rap about some stuff that I'm not actually like going through, you know, like it could just be spur of the moment stuff. Like that sounds pretty cool, but then there's some stuff that actually could be going on, and I literally write it down, or I rap about it in the studio. So it varies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's dope.
That's fire.
And Fasscoupe has been at it for a while. Like I said, if y'all don't know, you better go check him out on all social media platforms, streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all the good ones. Tidal, I think. I don't know if I'm forgetting any, but that's Fasscoupe. And he started in 2014, like a decade ago. And you said you dropped your first video back then. What was your first video? And if you can remember, like, what came with you creating that video at the time?
So my first video was not your average first video, first off. My first video, we shot it in California.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
You went all the way to Cali for the first video?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm taking this all the way to the top.
Yeah, because, you know, I had put out music, but I didn't do an actual video. So I was already doing music with, like, you know, pretty well-known artists, because I was always into, like, getting like a good artist on my songs to just build some attention just from the average artist, you know what I'm saying? So we flew over to California. It's actually called Drippin' and Flossin'. And to this day, if you guys go bump it, the song's crazy. Like it still thumps now.
Yeah.
You know, we had like a little Ferrari in the music video.
Well, okay.
Yeah, we shot on Redondo Beach. It was like a drop top. So sunshine, beach vibes. It was super fun, super cool.
That's fire.
Yeah.
And you know, like, so for myself and anybody listening in, I'm sure like they're curious as well. You're a young head, you know? So when we're talking back in 2014, you starting out on your music journey. And I feel like maybe you can relate to especially the Boston music scene. It's a little tough to get support, to get the love, to get the resources, to make what you want come true.
Absolutely.
How do you feel like at a young age you were kind of like getting these names and being able to go to California, and like what was your journey of getting into like being able to collab with different people? I am gonna name drop you in a few with some of the features that you've done, but
sure. You know, I think it's a mixture of law of attraction and just being a driven person. You know, it's those two right there, because the whole Fasscoupe, literally the name of Fasscoupe is a car. So I took that, you know, because I just felt like, you know, we were very driven, you know, it's a mentality. So, you know, I pretty much, you know, anybody that I was a fan of or I really respected, I was never too shy to reach out and say, I want to work. And at the same time, when I invested and got the music done, now I'm working with artists that are, you know, really great. So I'm learning from them at the same time, you know, so it always worked out in my favor.
Yeah. And you know, I just need to highlight and shout out you. Thank you for even mentioning that, for bringing up this word manifestation. You know, and that you put that time, that effort, that energy. You were driven and motivated, but you used the energy that was being given to you and you projected that positively, and it kept coming back.
Exactly.
You know, and it takes a strong mental to be able to push yourself to do that.
Absolutely.
Especially at a young age. Also Young World vibes.
Feel me? Straight up.
And the second thing you said that stuck out to me was, you know, Fasscoupe. You know, it's a fast mentality. It's a mentality. It's a lifestyle. And you know, when I was doing some research on you, I saw another interviewer article that was written on you, and they referred to Massachusetts. It's a mentality. It's a lifestyle. Can you tell the people and let me know what is Massachusetts? What's behind that?
Yeah, so Massachusetts, obviously, it has a mixture of Fasscoupe and Massachusetts is one. So, you know, us being kids from, you know, Massachusetts, you know, and just having the driven mentality of, you know, Fasscoupe, we meshed it together. So originally it's supposed to be a project. You know, so we were going to end up putting a project out, but then we just had so many different projects lined up. It never actually got to come out, but it's going to come out soon.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, wait. It's coming out soon?
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Well, is this like, you heard it here first?
Yeah, you heard it first. Yeah, it's coming.
Y'all heard it here first. It's coming, Massachusetts. Be on the lookout. But you know, besides all that, the 2014, you've come a long way since then. You've done, you know, been with a lot of big names. Just to shout out a couple, Bia. You did features with Millyz, Rich the Kid. Let's see, Lil Durk, Lil Baby.
Yeah.
Am I missing anybody?
the list just keeps going.
The list keeps going. Y'all heard?
Yeah.
So, you know, in from the ones that you've done, you actually have one of your most recent ones. The last 6 months you dropped was Orange, featuring Millyz, who's also a Boston-based artist, which is pretty fire. How did that kind of come about with y'all working together, and what kind of was the message behind Orange?
Definitely. So Millyz is from Cambridge as well, you know, but he's from another side of the city. He's from the coast. I'm from North Cambridge. So, you know, at the time when I first started rapping, he was already in the game for a little bit on the independent level, trying to get himself out there. So there wasn't too many people in the city of Cambridge rapping. So he found out about me, and then we started having conversations on the phone. We started kicking it. He gave me a lot of advice. I gave him advice as well, and then we built a relationship. So we actually did a song back in like 2015, 16.
Oh, so this has been years in the making. Like, you know, Millie, you guys have known each other for a long time.
Long time, yeah. That's my guy. So
Feel you.
I ended up losing the record. You know, crazy story. I got like arrested, had the phone on me. And,
wait, what? It got erased type shit?
Erased, yeah. Lost it, yeah.
Everything
and,
happens for a reason.
Yeah, you know, so, you know, a couple years later, you know, we're still grinding. So I ended up reaching back out to him, and then we got the Orange record done. So in terms of why I called the song Orange or whatever the case was, when I heard the beat, the first thing that came to my mind was the color orange. And I thought that was pretty cool that I could, you know, pretty much paint a picture of the color orange with sound. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to play around with it and be a little more creative and try to define the color orange with a sound. You know what I'm saying? And I threw, you know, Millyz on. It was just a perfect mix. You know?
Yeah. And it was a fire track too.
Fire, yeah.
And the video's dope as well. So if y'all, you know, like a visual to go with your music, can definitely check that one out.
For sure.
And you know, with like comparing your experience, you know, making that music video with Millyz, who y'all have known each other for so long, you've been building a repertoire and you guys fuck with each other. How was it making that video? Was it a good time? Did you guys have fun?
Yeah, no, it was fun. We had a good time. We did at the Surefire studio over in Lowell.
Shout out Surefire Studio.
Exactly.
I shot an art video there before.
Yeah, they're super tapped in with the culture. You know, they always show love to people trying to do their thing out here. So it was, you know, it was mandatory to do it over there. We had 10 shoot the video. He's one of the best videographers out here right now. He's
What's
doing
his name?
10, shot by 10s.
Okay.
Like,
That's
yeah, so he
fire.
did it. And, you know, we had a bunch of support. I had people from Fall River, Cambridge, Somerville, Boston. We had models from Lowell. So it just was a big Massachusetts thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. And, you know, when it's crazy because when you put stuff out like that, like people enjoy the end result. Like, wow, this video looks dope. Wow, you guys sound great. Oh my gosh, like y'all are teaming up, you and Millyz. Like, that's huge. But there's a lot of pre-production and a lot of work that goes into it. Or one could say, like, takes a team, it takes a village. Did you feel like that was kind of the case? Like, you guys did a lot of pre-preparation to get that everything going for that video? Or was it kind of like fall into place type shit?
Yeah, it kind of, I think it was literally the middle of those two right there. It was a
nice combination.
Yeah, pre-preparation, and you know, things just fell into place because we actually had like a couple dates that we didn't get to actually shoot it on. And you know, we had different cameramen, and then you know, we wanted to make the best decision for the video. So the pre-preparation, and then you know, it kind of just came together with you know, the way we did it.
Nice. And so like I said, guys, if you're tuning in right now, make sure after this episode, you go right back on your YouTube search bar, type in Orange Fasscoupe, and go check out that video because it's dope.
Absolutely.
Show some love.
That's
Let them know where you
fire.
saw it first here on Oh So Young World. But yeah, besides that, there's so many other projects you've dropped, and I'm gonna let you get into a little bit more. But there is one other feature that I want to bring up. She's kind of a big deal from around here. She's, you know, made a name for herself, kind of blowing up right now. Just put out a song with J. Cole recently. Shout out Bia. You know, always got to show love to the females out here doing their thing. But you guys had a song from back in the day. Like, if I have it right, let me see here. Was this like 2018?
Correct.
Like almost like 4 years ago type shit?
Correct.
But 6 years ago. Oh my gosh, COVID's got me messed up. But that's Seashell, and it's wild because like when I was looking up your music, that was actually one of the last that I had came across. I'd been going through all your recent stuff and all that, and I was like, yo, this is a fucking banger.
It is.
And it's like I didn't know of it. Is it the same type of situation with you and Bia like it was with you and Millyz of being around the same area, coming up, working together?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Bia and Millyz both, they've been grinding for a long time. Me as well. So there was a point in time we were all running around the city around the same time trying to do our thing. So, I was hearing about Bia was hearing about Millyz was hearing about Fasscoupe, and it just was a circulation of who's trying to do their thing out here.
Yeah.
So I was dating this girl, and she was actually good friends with Bia. And Bia actually ended up, telling me that she knows who I am, etc. So, we ended up getting a record done through the girl that I was dating. She put it together, and then we banged out the record. So
that's some teamwork there.
Yeah, it was teamwork, and for this record, when me and Millyz did the record, we weren't actually in the studio together. But me and
for real?
Yeah, we weren't in the studio.
You couldn't even tell.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
but
wild.
With me and Bia, we was actually in the studio together. We created a song together. I went in there, I did what I had to do. Bia banged her verse out. It just was good vibes. She came to the booth, she gave me some advice. I gave her some advice.
Yeah.
It just was great. It was produced by John Scott. He's a great engineer too. So yeah, it was a great time.
The chemistry, like you could really tell in the song, it makes sense that y'all were together in the studio because you can really, it shines through, And that's just the single, but that shit was fire.
It's fire.
And besides that, you have more recent projects that you've put out, and you just dropped it actually last week. Do you want to let people know about? Is it Neighborhood 9?
Exactly, it's Neighborhood 9. So Neighborhood 9 is a collaborative project of artists from the North Cambridge area. Oof. Yeah, we got 2-3 on there. We got 54 Beam. We got Trap Glizzy, who's phenomenal. We got Big Black, very consistent artist. We got Trap Boom, who's actually from New Orleans.
Okay.
But yeah, he moved to Cambridge, some years ago. So he has like a New Orleans accent.
That's fine.
Mixed with a Cambridge vibe. We got some other artists on there. We got a feature from Lil Freaky. He's from Atlanta. And we have a feature from Sauce Gohan, who's from Texas.
Wow.
So it's a well-seasoned project, different flavors on there. It's great, you know what I'm saying? Out now.
And how many songs can the people expect to hear on that?
In total, I believe we have 18. Yeah, 18 songs.
Damn!
Yeah.
Y'all got a whole novel going.
We got a book.
That's dope. That's dope.
Volume 2 on the way as well.
Okay. And so this collaborative of, you're saying that you took a lot of artists from the Cambridge area. I'm not very familiar with Cambridge, but I'm assuming like north, south, like
exactly.
Different. And y'all teamed up and collabed. And what was... was that your idea? Was it kind of like a collaboration between y'all where you came up with it? Or kind of where was the inspiration from that started? So the
inspiration actually started from my engineer. One of my engineers, his name is Nine. That's his actual nickname. So he ended up getting arrested. So he's not around right now, but we had always talked about it. Like he really wanted to do it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Here's a perfect time to do it. We already had some songs already set up. And then, I finished it up. So if you look at the project, the artwork, it says hosted by Fasscoupe and T Feast.
Yeah.
So me and T Feast, we actually put everything together along with Nine, which the project is actually named after.
Got you.
For sure.
Okay, so y'all finished it up after he had already...
Yeah, he got it started.
Yeah, okay. And so with this, and you're saying like a volume 2 is coming, is this something you guys plan to keep going of collabing artists from around the areas to bring them together type shit?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, a lot of times, one thing with artists have a lot of ego, individual artists. Working together is a beautiful thing, and I just want to make that more like regular, Like it should be regular.
Because there's so much competition out here.
Yeah, I don't like that people would compete with each other when actually you guys can complete each other.
Whoa!
You know what I'm saying? Just some bars real quick.
That was such a bar.
Facts.
Y'all don't have to compete. You can complete 100%. It's like if people like us, different artists from the area don't team up and openly talk about what we're going through and make different music, like that's how you get a versatile sound.
Exactly.
That's how you get an individual sound by trying something new. You know, if you stay on that same wave over and over, you're trying to hop on everybody else's, like you're just gonna end up being like a follower. You feel me?
Sure.
So
Exactly.
it's important to make your own lane, a fast lane. You feel me? Hey! I was like, is he gonna get that one? I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see if he gets it.
Perfect timing.
And you know, so you growing up yourself, getting into music, everything, and I do want to touch upon some of your other projects, but who was your inspirations for music? Because I do feel like you do have a very different individual sound from around here. But growing up, like who did you listen to?
Yeah, so I'm well seasoned. I listen to everything. So the reason a lot of people tell me that, they say like you got your own sound. You don't really sound like a typical Boston artist. You know, maybe the accent or delivery. But originally, the first artist I really liked, Joel Santana. Then I liked Max B as well. The whole Dipset thing was super big from where I'm from.
Yep.
But as I got older, I started, listening to the Migos. They came in.
Facts.
Super dope. When I was like 18, 19, it was like the talk of the town. And they're from like Georgia. So, it's a mixture. I like Nipsey Hussle, New York artists.
Yeah.
I just like good music.
You give me like a Southern New York, Boston vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's all like mixed.
Yeah, and it's because I listen to so much different stuff. I never was like, I just want to listen to New York artists. Like, I always want to know what's going on in California, Texas, New York, Georgia, Florida. Whatever's good, I wanted to know.
Yeah. And that's like exactly what we're saying. Individuality. You know what I'm saying? You gotta mix the pieces that feel good with you. Every artist is gonna be different. And that's how we come up with new things and new concepts.
Exactly.
And this could be a false fact, but when I was looking up some information on you, I seen that you like G Unit too growing up. Is that
for sure? G Unit, yeah. I love G Unit.
So I had a question. I was curious. If you had an option, right? Like I gave you the option, you could chill with G Unit for a whole day, or you could chill with Joel Santana. Let's just say the whole Dipset crew. Ooh. Dipset or G Unit? Who is it?
Dang, that's a tough
one. And why, yo?
That's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie, that's a super tough one. Like I'm
talking breakfast, lunch, dinner, smoking blunts, like having good times, getting gems.
That's so tough because it's just like they have so many things that they're both good at, but they're different at as well. Wow.
I really wanted to put you on the spot with this one. I was like, damn, hard. I'm gonna catch him off guard, yo.
That's hard. That's so hard. That's so hard.
I mean, you can skip it if you want.
No, I'm not gonna skip it. I'm gonna be honest with you. So just like I said, from what I remember, Joel Santana was the first rapper that I really liked because he was younger. So I probably would stick to my childhood. G-Unit actually came a little bit. I wouldn't say they came a little bit after, but yeah, they actually did come a little bit after, from what I know. Yeah, they came a little after, so I would stick to my roots. Okay. And I'll go rock with Dipset.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
That's fine.
Now we know.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
A good one. That was a good one.
Hey. Besides making music, putting out dope music videos, all that, you also perform, and you've done some, live performances, concerts, and I think it was actually a couple sold out shows in Boston. Was it Uzi?
Lil Uzi.
Okay.
Crazy show.
When was that? A couple years ago?
That was 2018.
Okay, got you.
That was 2018. It's crazy because we met Lil Uzi at the jewelry store in New York.
Yo, I was just gonna say, how the hell Fasscoupe?
Yeah,
please tell me.
We were getting jewelry at this jewelry store called Aviani. And like it's like super tapped in with the culture. Like a lot of artists go there and get their jewelry. So literally when we were in that shop and Lil Uzi walked in and we were buying stuff at the same time. And
manifestation.
You see what I'm saying? And my manager at the time, he went to go talk to Uzi's manager at the time. And they're like, yo, we're coming to Boston. So then literally, you see what I'm saying? It just went from there. They're like, yo, y'all.
That's a meant to be moment.
Yeah. So we opened up. The show was crazy. It was super fun. Like we had jumped in the crowd. The crowd loved us. after the show was over, you know, I went to go shake the fans' hands, you know, embrace everybody. It was super fun.
Wow.
For sure.
And at that time, I mean, just meeting in a jewelry store, mad nonchalant, not knowing. How was that opportunity for your like music career and what you were doing at the time? Was it like, you know, did it help kind of push you forward or open your mind to like new projects going forward?
Yeah, it definitely pushed me forward because I just like we spoke about the manifestation stuff. Like when you really stay centered and you believe in what you're doing and you're patient, you know, your time will come. You just got to be consistent, you know? So, yeah, so when all that happened, I'm like, obviously I'm doing something right because there's progression, you know? So that was just a reminder of that, just to keep going. For sure.
100%. And like, you know, there's a big population of people right now in our day and age, our culture, who want to be artists, who want to get their voice heard, who want to do things, you know, that you've done or have features that you've had. For, you know, anyone listening in around your age, younger, older, like that motivational aspect that you're talking about, what made you, like just personally within you, how do you stay motivated? Like, how do you keep that mindset where you're like, yo, I got this. I believe, I know that this is it. Even if shit around you maybe is saying otherwise.
Well, you know, every independent artist, you know, they do get discouraged. You know, I'd be a fool to like sit up here and say, I'm always motivated. There's times where I'd be like, damn, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm about to go just do something else. But, you know, just for me, like getting game from other artists who, you know, sat in the same seats that we sat in, it's harder to stop what you're doing than to keep going. You know, so if I just stopped, that would take more energy for me personally to just keep going. So why not keep going?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fire.
And I feel that same way too, because there's days too where I'm like, yo, I can't do this no more. It's not this, it's not that. All the doubts, all the excuses.
Right.
And it's like those excuses that you have to push out of your mind and your head and be like, nah, I really do got this. But you're the only one who can make that choice.
Exactly.
And I'm very repetitive about this on my show, but anybody listening in, it's 100% facts. Like, we come from two, you know, different places, two different lifestyles, but we're here right now talking, right?
Exactly.
So what brought this moment together? Us both pushing forward and wanting to do what we're supposed to do, and things happen and fall in place how they're supposed to happen. So if you're listening in and you're doubting and you're questioning and you're like, nah, I'm not good enough. Nah, I can't do it. This person has done this. I'm comparing myself to this. I compare myself too. I'm sure Fasscoupe has done the same thing, but it's about moving past those thoughts and just doing it, you know? I guess, like, you know, my producer tells me, like my friends tell me, shout out Keith Lee, like Nike, just do it. You feel me? Stop making excuses.
Facts.
That was to myself, but that's to y'all listening in too. And, you know, another big feature I got to shout out that you've done and the person that you worked with is Lil Baby, which is like, what the hell?
Yeah, tremendous.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was dope. Shout out to my publicist, Lala Shep. She's based out of Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Shout out Lala.
Yeah, she's originally from Ohio, but she's out there, you know, pursuing her dreams. She actually is part of a music media company called The Progress Report.
The Progress Report.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, they're super tapped in with the culture. So whenever I talk about like progression and stuff, it's because she gave me that, you know, making progress every single day. So yeah, she put it together. When he first was coming up, I heard a record of his, and I'm like, yo, this kid's dope. But this is before he was even mainstream.
Right.
So I told her, I'm like, I want to work with him. And she was like, that's my guy. He's a call away. I'll call him right now.
What?
Yeah, and then he just
For real?
came to the studio with his homeboys, and then we just did the song.
Yo, stop it.
I swear, yeah, that's how it went.
Yo, you making this sound too easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's how it goes, though, when you're putting that consistent dedication. You know, it really be happening like that sometimes.
Yeah, that was great. And remember when we talked about how I started freestyling? I think I mentioned that.
Yeah.
So when I was in the studio with him, he freestyles.
Lil Baby straight freestyles?
He freestyles. He doesn't write. From what I know from that time.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So when we were in there, you know, the beat was playing, and then he came up to me, he's like, what you got? So I was literally writing on my phone. And then he was like, I probably had like 4 lines set up. And he was like, yo, you should just go up in there and just bang it out. So I'm like,
bro, we different.
Yeah. I'm like, am I gonna just sit here and just be writing this whole time? Or should I just go up in there and do what I got to do and improve myself? And you know what I'm saying? So I can hang with the best of them. So I just ran up in there and did what I did. I had the 4 lines and I just freestyled the rest. And then he went in there, he did it, and then we got a complete song.
Damn. him.
Yeah.
And can y'all let the people know what the name of that song is?
Oh, it's called Pray For. Fasscoupe featuring Lil Baby, out now on all streaming platforms. Bang!
It's a dope ass one to be bumping in your car while you're driving. Just saying, it's lit. And that's a couple years out now, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, guys, like I said, like I promised, the big names just keep coming. We haven't even named all of them. And who knows what's will be coming in the future, But I just want to give you a props for always staying on your track, in your fast lane, because that's what you was meant to do, through your music and through everything you've done, I've heard you say time and time again, it's aligning with the culture, or they're tapping into the culture, whether it be like the jewelry store or the person you're working with. I don't like to assume my people listening in are all into hip hop just because I'm into hip hop. So when you're talking about the culture, what do you feel like that means within the music realm? And like, what are you as an artist contributing to the culture through your music that you're releasing?
So when I say the culture, I'm speaking for young innovators. Not young. I don't want to say young because you could be older and you could be old soul and be an innovator as well. But anybody who really believes in their self and their craft and whatever they're destined to do. That's the culture right there. So I feel like I play a big part in terms of motivating. You know what I'm saying? Motivating the culture. Just not giving up.
100%. And just for myself, I view you as an example, like a very good example for a lot of young people, young heads. And like I said, we're still young, but there's people even younger than us, older than us, whatever, the age doesn't matter, who maybe haven't embraced their full passion yet and haven't been able to, make the decision of like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go down. So when you can sit here and talk about like, I did doubt, I did go through this, I did go through that, but I'm still getting on those songs. I'm still reaching out to those people. I'm still doing it even if I get a no. Do you always get yeses? Do you all, nah, sometimes we get shut down. Sure. Sometimes things happen. I think it's how you move about that and how you move after it.
Absolutely.
And, with the music, I feel like no matter if you're an independent artist, a signed artist, making a podcast, being a painter, whatever it may be, you have to sacrifice shit. I feel like I don't even have to ask this question because you know where I'm going.
You have to. You have to make big sacrifices. Going to the studio instead of partying, writing some music instead of, just being nonchalant and not taking care of business. Like you get what you put in this field. So whatever you put in is what you get. So when you don't get the results that you want, who can you blame? You can't blame the people out there. You got to blame yourself because you're not working hard enough. So that should be a reminder to keep working.
Stay hungry consistently. Like nobody's going to feed you. You got to feed yourself, especially when it comes to art and that mentality. And, going forward with you, Fasscoupe, for 2022 or the future or anything else, do you have more projects coming? Do you have more music videos planned? Do you have anything else that, your fans should be looking forward to? Or is it kind of under wraps?
I got so much coming.
Whoa!
I got so much, bro.
Like in terms of?
In terms of videos, in terms of, music, in terms of projects, in terms of shows.
Okay.
Everything.
Merchandise. We're going live again?
Everything. We're going super live.
Dope. And do you see incorporating into like your music travel? Like, do you want to kind of be taking this, to different states, different cities around and spreading your message to other places as well?
Absolutely. So when I first started, I did a lot of traveling. Like I told you, my first video was in California.
Right.
I went to South by Southwest a couple years. It's a music conference in Austin, Texas. I went to Revolt. It's a music conference.
Oh, Revolt Music Festival?
Yeah, it was big. I don't know if it's still big anymore like it used to be, but I went there. It's in Miami, Florida at the time.
Yeah.
So I definitely always moved around. But one thing I do want to tell artists out there, you do have to lock down hometown. You do have to get that support from where you come from, because that's like that's your backing. Like your hometown should always have your back.
And it's dope that you say that, but I also feel like so many people hate on the Boston scene.
That's true. That's true.
Like, why though?
That's true.
Why do you feel that?
That's true. Honestly, I think in terms of like everything, we're very competitive from like our sports. Like we have like the best sports teams. It's tough, but I do like it because at the end of the day, it just makes you a greater artist. Like having to go through all that adversity, I just feel like it builds you up. Because look at Joyner, look at Millyz, look at Bia. These are all gonna be like superstars if they're not already superstars, and it's because what they had to go through.
Yeah.
It like molded them into like such a strong individual.
Yeah.
That they're good. You know.
100%.
For sure.
100%. And I think that's also something like you're doing and something like I'm doing. Like we're going through our paths and our steps and our process, to get to where we're supposed to be. And I just want to shout you out for always continuing and keeping going forward. Like I said, and like we both said, it's competitive around here in the Boston area, but putting the hometown on the map, being able to carry that name of like, yo, I'm from Boston, I rep Boston, I love Boston, like that's how we open up and bring the communities together and make this like, yo, if an artist from New York comes over here, we're welcoming you with open arms, because when we go to New York, we hoping you welcome Boston.
Exactly.
Like we can collab and make it how it's supposed to be. With yourself, being young and performing and being with so many names, do you have a certain, like, let's say either a music video that you made or a song that you worked on that sticks out in your head as like being something that you yourself were just like so proud of, something that you really, and it could be all of it. I mean, I don't want to discredit any of your other stuff, any of your projects, but...
Yeah, I would say all of it. I would say all of it because it just was like, I worked with so many great artists.
Yeah.
So for me to pick out one and be like, oh, this was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
It's everything. But do I have moments that actually stuck out to me? Of course. I feel like when I did the record with Lil Baby, that stuck out. He's like one of the best artists of his generation now. The video with Millyz was great. The record with Bia was super fun. We performed it a couple times. Just great moments.
Yeah, 100%. Are you gonna try to get a feature with Joyner sometime in the future? I feel like that's the only name that we're like missing in our lineup right now.
Literally. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna see. I'm actually friends with his DJ, so
okay.
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
That's fire.
And I have to ask you, because I asked all my guests who come on, and because I feel like we've been on the same wavelength about this. Like I said, we're around similar ages. We've been going through similar, situations, whatever, trying to build our platforms individually of who we are. What do you feel like it means, from what you've gone through, from anything from growing up as a child to where you're at now? What does it mean to you to be an old soul in a young world? And, putting your music out, being or not being an old soul in the young world?
So, okay, we actually had a talk prior to the show, but I'll bring it back up. So I actually had to do an event in Lawrence. It was at Mama's Lounge. They played a record that I got. Me and Hoya Life Knicks. It's called Neighborhood. It's out now on all platforms. So we went over there to get it played or whatever, and it was like a younger crowd. I'm 27, so like everyone in there was probably like early 20s. So there was like a girl, she had a tattoo on her neck and it said 2001.
No.
Yeah.
Crying.
So I'm a 90s baby, so I got freaked out when I seen it.
Yo.
Cause then I'm like, wow, these kids that were born in 2000s are actually like 21, 22 right now. And that's just so odd to me because it's just like I'm a 90s baby and before that I was 80s baby. So it's just the 2000 number just seems so new and fresh to me. But that just made me realize that I'm becoming an older soul in a younger world, and the younger generation is coming up. Now, me still being there, getting my music played, and seeing a younger world vibe to older soul's music, super fun. Just to see that, like it was cool.
Yeah. It's that dope, like almost 360, but it's like it sneaks up on you because I was telling you, I feel, and like just to comment on that tattoo shit, I have never seen a birthday tattoo that doesn't start with a 19.
Yeah.
Like I'm a 90s baby too, and it's like, yo, if I seen a girl tattooed with starting with a 20, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm literally a grandma. What's happening?
For sure.
It's crazy how things come back like that. But also, and I had said this to you as well, but like language, like slang, and it's crazy how culturally and over time it it changes and evolves and adapts. So it's like, there's kids right now, younger than us, who it's like they're using words that I've never heard before. And I'm like, I literally don't know what you're saying, So it's just like everything changes, and it's not bad to be an old soul in the young world. It actually causes appreciation, and it lets you show like the younger generation can vibe with you. You must be doing something.
For sure. That's how I took it.
Yeah, definitely. And, before we, log off Fasscoupe, is there anything you want to say to any of your fans, anyone listening in, who, maybe looks up to what you're doing or would love to be like in a position that you're in where they've gone to work with big artists and it's like, how do I get there? How do I keep going? I know we kind of already touched upon this, but anything else that you want to say to anybody?
Yeah, the best advice I could give a younger artist is to never stop. Never stop. That's the best advice. Hopefully you guys take that. Because, I got that advice from somebody, and it's working. Never stop.
Hey.
For sure.
That's fire.
Fasscoupe, and I appreciate you coming on, opening up, talking about your projects. Neighborhood 9 out now. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be so much coming this year. Visuals, who knows, maybe. Where can people find your projects? Could you just put in your plug of your IG, where they can find it on social medias and all that good stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So you guys can catch me on Instagram at FASSCOUPE. All my music's on all DSPs, which stands for streaming platforms, excuse me. We just dropped the Neighborhood 9 tape. It's out now. It's doing good. Follow me on Twitter, Fasscoupe_TCE. And if you have you want to see anything else, all my interviews and stuff, just Google me.
Hey!
That's fire.
Y'all heard it here first. Fasscoupe, again, thank you so much for coming on, for sharing your knowledge, for continuing to be somebody who motivates others, and making music that is adding to the culture, because that's what we need. As we go forward, people like you who are coming out and can share their artistic motivation.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
All love, Josh.
And all my, people's listening in, make sure, like we just said, go check out Fasscoupe, check out Neighborhood 9, stream it on all platforms, check out all his features that he has with Lil Baby, Bia, Millyz, and everyone else who I can't name right now because the list goes on. But this is the type of shit that we love. People representing not only the Boston area, but just for their city, coming up and trying to make a difference, trying to reach out further than what they've been given, because we're all born into a certain world, we're born into a certain box, a certain family, but we can move ourselves out of that and we can make ourselves what we want, as long as you can dream big enough and live up to those dreams. So y'all, take the next week, figure out in your minds what you can do to become better, what you can do to push your dreams forward. Make sure you tap in with Fasscoupe, and make sure you tune in with me next week on Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie. Hey! Cheers!
Water cheers. Hey!
Water cheers. Hey, drink more water.
Stay hydrated, summer.